Yeah. Okay, copy. Brothers and sisters who are online, I'm sorry for the technical difficulties, but we should have sound now, right? Okay, very good, very good, very good. So, we're going to get into the portion of Jethro. Now, as I was saying before, there are a lot of, people may have their own ideas on Jethro's influence, but we know for a fact that he had an influence on our people. He counseled Moshe, our teacher, may his memory be blessed, on how to deal with masses. You understand what I'm saying? So, with no further ado, let's get into the portion. You can start reading from the beginning.
We're in the book of Exodus, chapter 18, verse 1. Let us all say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Jethro, the father, the minister of Midian, Slika, the father-in-law of Moses, heard everything God did to Moses and to Israel.
Right. So we're at a point now where what the Creator did is ringing bells throughout the whole earth. Right. People is like, you heard what happened in Egypt? Oh my goodness, because Egypt was lit. Egypt was that spot. Egypt was that place that everybody wanted to get to, or everybody wanted to learn from, or everybody felt safe underneath, just like America. And when the Creator said in the previous chapters, we gonna bring Pharaoh and I'm gonna get a name off of this guy. You understand what I'm saying? So to humble the earth and let them know that Israel is on the map. It's like you're in school, right? You first day of school, you the new kid on the block. Everybody looking at you strange. And you got a big bully that bullies everybody. But the new kid, small guy, he comes in and knocks out the bully. Guess what? He ain't got to fight no more. Everybody shook. People don't even want to stand next to him. Like, now he's liable to do anything. I don't want none of them curses that happened to Egypt that happened to us. So Jethro is proud of Moshe. Why? Because that's his son-in-law. That's part of his family. Moshe, our teacher, worked with Jethro, worked for Jethro, and Jethro gave him leave. If we go into the chapters, you'll read that. He didn't just blow. Gave him leave. Take care of your business. He made his father-in-law proud. So these are things that we gotta look into. Touch it.
Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, took Zipporah, the wife of Moses, after she had been sent away, and her 2 sons,
right?
Of whom the name of one was Gershom,
right? Gershom.
For he had said, I was a sojourner in a strange land.
That's right.
And the name of the other, Eliezer. For the God of my father came to my aid and saved me from the sword of Pharaoh.
That's right. So one of the things that I want to get into, and I'll tell you, this was an issue, or this was a discussion that we had last year and a couple of years before, is that people always wondered how many wives did Moses have? Now, we was always under the impression that Moses had 2 wives, right? Because it mentions one that is almost Ethiopian, right? And then we know that Jethro was the priest of Midian. But a lot of times we get lines crossed. One of the reasons that, I had a discussion, I was sitting in a restaurant with some quote unquote Jewish people. And the issue came up of polygyny. And we were talking about, Moses, he had more than one wife, and boom, 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 and this, that, and the third. And according to Judaism, it doesn't reflect that he had more than one wife. So we start going backwards and forward, and it actually prompted me to go do some research to find out what's going on. Because you can never, as an Israelite, get to the point where you can't learn from somebody. This portion actually teaches us that you can learn from people.
Right.
That may not even be you,
Right.
but you can learn from it. You understand what I'm saying? So from there, we sat down, we talked, we did some research. When I say we, I'm talking about us. Me and a couple brothers. And we sat down and we talked, and we did some research, and we started looking into Jethro and who he was. Being that that's the portion, let's look into that, right? So if we may, let's go to Exodus chapter 2, verse 16. Exodus chapter 2, verse 16. We got some maps here. Hopefully everybody can see it. But it's like a makeshift map. I just did it. So, hopefully it's good enough. So when you get there, go ahead. Okay.
We're in the book of Exodus, chapter 2, verse 16. Let us all say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
The minister of Midian had 7 daughters. They came and drew water and filled their troughs to water their father's sheep.
Right.
The shepherds came and drove them away.
Right.
Moses got up and saved them and watered their sheep.
Right.
They came to Reuel, their father.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "How could you come so quickly today?"
Right.
And they replied.
Right. So now we have a name. We have a name, Reuel. Right? So we know that he's the priest or the minister of Midian, right? Okay, now where's Midian located? This is what we need to know. Midian is located across the water in what is now almost Saudi Arabia, on the outskirts of Saudi Arabia, right? That's where Midian is now. That's where it lies, right? So this is Saudi Arabia. Oh no, that one don't even work. So this is Midian. This is Saudi Arabia, right? Cool. Let's read some more.
He said, "How could you come so quickly today?" And they replied, "An Egyptian man saved us from the shepherds, and he even drew water for us and watered the sheep." He said to his daughters, "And where is he? Why did you leave the man?"
We're not gonna omit any points because guess what? They said an Egyptian. So off top, we know Egyptians are what? Hamitic people, right? They black people. Right. So Moshe was mistaken,
Right.
for an Egyptian. So there's no way that he was a Caucasoid, a Caucasian, or even to the point of Arab looking, right? He had to be looking like one of them Hamites in features or in the darkness of his skin, right? So that's one thing that we cannot omit. Very, very important part. Very important fact, right? They thought he was an Egyptian, right? Just like Joseph. Joseph was mistaken as an Egyptian by his own 11 brothers. These are facts that we can't get out. And the color of Egypt didn't change until the Greek invasion of Egypt, which is during the time of Alexander. So we're talking about almost 1,000 years later, right? So, no, this was a black man. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Keep it.
Moses desired to dwell with the man, and he gave his daughter Torah to Moses.
Right.
She gave birth to a son.
Okay, so that's good. That's good. That's good. We still in 2, right?
Okay.
So that's good. So now we know that he's the priest of Midian, right? Very well, right? Thank you. But we also know, well, we'll get into that in a minute. Let's go to Exodus chapter 3, verse 1.
Moses was shepherding the sheep of Jethro, his father-in-law.
So now we understood that this man got more than one name, right? So it referred to him in the first one as Reuel. But now he's called Jethro. Go ahead, keep reading, King.
He guided the sheep far into the wilderness. And he arrived at the mountain of God toward Horeb.
Okay, so we can leave that there. Let's go to 4, verse 18. We're still in Exodus, the book of Shemot, chapter 4, verse 18.
So Moses went and returned to Jethro, his father-in-law, and said to him, let me now go back to my brethren who are in Egypt.
So he returned to Jethro, his father-in-law. He said, let me return to my brethren in Egypt. Remember, we said that. He asked. He didn't say, yo, I'm out. He had respect. This is a humble and meek man. This is the things that we can learn about the life of our teacher Moshe. Even though he knew he was the one that the Lord chose, he still had humility. All right, let's go. All right, one more chapter with this one. Let's go to chapter, we're in chapter 18, so we're good with all of chapter 18. But I really want to know if Moses had more than one wife. I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know, right? So we already know that Midian is over here by Saudi Arabia, right? Okay. So let's go to Judges, chapter 1, verse 16. Because we're going to find out who Jethro was and who his people was. Doing my raising thing again, man.
Judges 1:16, first?
Yes, sir. Judges 1:16. Chapter 1, verse 16. Touch you.
The children of the Kenite, Moses, his father-in-law, ascended from the city of date palms.
So now we got another group of people called Kenites. Right or wrong? A group of people called Kenites. Who is the Kenites? Let's find out who they are. So now we got people called the Kenites. I want to know what a Kenite is. Well, when you look up Kenites, it says that they were people that knew how to deal with forging certain steels and copper and stuff like that, right? It also says that these people originated in the south of Midian, another place in Edom, another place in Araba, right? So these are all places south of where we're from, but when I say where we're from, I'm referring to Eretz Israel, right? So the Kenites, let's keep that up, but keep reading. Read it from the beginning again, one more time.
The children of the Kenite, Moses, his father-in-law, ascended from the city of date palms with the children of Judah to the wilderness of Judah.
So automatically when I hear Kenites, because I know Jethro is supposed to be a Midian, right? So off top, when I hear Kenites, I'm thinking, this must be Moses' other father-in-law. Right? That's what I'm thinking. But I'm wrong. It's not. We talking about the same person. How are we going to tie it all up? Let's go to Judges chapter 4, verse 11. Very interesting stuff. History is not a lie. Our book is the most consistent thing that you're going to find, ever find. Yeah. Stop. That's that sheepskin. So check out Torah class, man. You just got to drop on this one. Everybody gonna be like, oh, that's nice. Low key letter, Instagram. Look them up. All right, so we there? Let's go.
Okay. Heber, the Kenite whom had become separated from the Kenites.
Heber, right? the Kenite, who had become separated from the Kenites. What else is it?
From the children of Hobab,
Hobab,
father-in-law of Moses.
father-in-law of Moses. So it's another name, but we're not going to go with that one so much. The reason why is because in the Hebrew it uses this word. Hotan. When you look up the word Hotan in the Hebrew, and we're using a book called Etymological Dictionary of Biblical Hebrew, right? So we're going in the etymology of the word, the origin of the word, and what the word may mean. When you look up the word in this book, it says related or tied together through marriage, right? Okay, cool. So now we're learning something. So it doesn't necessarily have to refer to a father-in-law. It could have been some other relative who they have a connection through a marriage, right? So we got a couple names, but now we're learning about this connection of Hobab, right? So let's go into Numbers. And Numbers is actually going to tie the whole thing up. Numbers chapter 10, verse 29. Numbers chapter 10, verse 29 is going to make all of this make sense. And then we'll get into the historical aspect of how Midian and where it's situated and the people that actually ran Midian. So we there?
Okay.
Go ahead, King.
When the book of Numbers, chapter 10, verse 29, let us all say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Moses said to Hobab, son of Reuel,
Okay, hold up. So now we got a connection, because that word Hotan don't necessarily mean father-in-law. It's translated in the English as father-in-law, but it could have been the son of his father-in-law, right? When in reference to Hobab, right? So now Numbers or Bar Mikvah is actually breaking it down for us and telling us what it is and who's who. So now this is a relation. Now we know that the Kenites is not no Ethiopians, or are they? Now we know that the Kenites is actually related to who? Jethro. So the whole time this is talking about Moses' in-laws, we're talking about Jethro and nobody else. Right? So start from the top again. Read that part.
Moses said to Hobab, the son of Reuel, the Midianite,
right,
father-in-law of Moses.
Woo! So it's giving us the whole breakdown. But it just referred to him as a Kenite. But now we're saying he's a Midianite. I'll tell you this. The book will refer to people of a specific nationality according to where they live. Right? Elijah's a Tishbite. They called him a Tishbite, right? But he was an Israelite. You understand? That's like people saying to me, oh, Nat, you're a Brooklynite. And they go down in the books that I'm a Brooklynite. And then all that time, I'm an Israelite that live in Brooklyn. So therefore, I'll be called the Brooklynite. The same thing here. It says that Joseph, when he was sold into captivity, it says they drew him out the well and gave him the Midianites. Right? But then it says, and the Ishmaelites purchased them. Then when he go into Egypt, it's saying he was sold into Egypt by Midianites. So it's vice versa. Because guess what? It could have been some Ishmaelites that lived in Midian, or some Midianites that lived in the territories of Ishmael. It don't necessarily dictate their ethnicity by what they are called a lot of times when we look at the scripture. You know who they are and their ethnicity by who their fathers were. Right? So one thing that we have to consider when we're looking at Jethro is that Midian, let's go to Genesis chapter, chapter 2, beginning of chapter 2. We're going to talk about land. It's going to talk about rivers leaving out the garden, where those rivers is located, and it's going to give us geographical information that we can reference to this, so that we can find out who the people is of that land. Right? So let's go to Genesis chapter 2. We can go. I think we can go from the top. We should be able to go from the top.
We in the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 1. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And the heaven and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day, God finished his work which he had made. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made.
Right.
And God blessed the seventh day and hallowed it, because in it he rested from all his work,
right,
which God in created had made.
Right.
These are the generations of heaven and earth when they were created, in the day that the Most High, our God, made heaven and earth. No shrub of the field was yet in the earth, no herb of the field has yet sprung up. The Most High God had caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground.
Okay, so hold on for a minute. So we're in Genesis chapter 2, right? All right, so
verse 6.
Let's go to 10. Okay, so let's get 10. Torah, appreciate you. Let's go to verse 10. We're going to skip down to verse 10.
And the river went out of Eden to water the garden.
Right.
And from thence it was parted.
Right.
And became 4 heads.
Right. So check this out. Now, if we're doing Garden and Eden stuff, it's talking about the Tigris and Euphrates River. So this is this way, in this direction. This is Egypt. This is like the Gulf of Suez. This is Midian. This is Saudi Arabia. Then the Tigris and Euphrates is right here. Why? Because the land between the Tigris and Euphrates is what? Mesopotamia, which is modern day Babylon or modern day Iraq, right? So we know that. It says the rivers that went out of the garden, right or wrong, 2 rivers, it's talking about 4 riverheads, right? Where those rivers link up would be the Persian Gulf. So in all actuality, where the Persian Gulf is, geographically, that's probably where the Garden of Eden would have been, right? So now we know that. Now we know, take a minute to consider that. Now we know that the riverheads is coming out of this way, or coming from this way, from this direction. So if those riverheads is coming from that direction, listen to the next verse. Let's go. Nah, I didn't even worry.
We're in the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 11. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And the name of the first is Pishon.
Right?
That is which compasses the whole land of Avila. Where there is gold.
Right.
And the gold that is in the land is good.
Right.
There is bdellium and onyx stone.
Right. Okay.
And the name of the second river is Gihon.
Gihon.
The same is that is compasses the whole land of Cush.
The land of Cush. So if this is Egypt, then this is Cush. Right? So how do we have a river that's coming all the way from over here, that's gotta go through rivers and seas to get over to the land of Cush? But guess what? During the time of Moshe, who wrote this book, the land of Cush was Saudi Arabia.
Right.
You know what I mean? Saudi Arabia was the land of Cush. And everybody who lived in there was Cushites. Right. So this means that Jethro lived in Midian. He was a priest here, but the entirety of the land was called the land of what? Cush. You dig? So that means that the Cushite woman that Moshe took was the daughter of Jethro. Because he had taken a Cushite woman. It don't say that he took, just like present taken, it said they was mad because he had taken a Cushite woman. Let's read the scripture for what it is. You understand what I'm saying? Let's read the scripture for what it is. So when we read the scripture for what it is, we understand that that's what? That's what they're talking about. All right. Let's go.
You still in Genesis?
We can go back to the portion of in Exodus chapter 18. We got any questions or comments online? Okay, cool.
All right, we in the book of Exodus, chapter 18, verse 5. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife into Moshe, into the wilderness where he had encamped, at the mount of God. And he said unto Moshe, I, thy father-in-law Jethro, am coming unto thee, and thy wife, and her 2 sons which with her.
Right.
And Moshe went out to meet his father-in-law and bowed down and kissed him.
Because we have to understand that he had been for him for a little while. So now they're coming back to where her husband is and where the children's father is. Let's go.
And they asked each other of their welfare. And they came into the tent. And Moshe told his father-in-law all that the Most High has done unto Pharaoh.
He said, I got a story to tell. You know what I mean? He got a story to tell. And his story that he had to tell, he's got the inside scoop. He's like, listen, this is what happened. Boy, we was at the sea, and you know, when the water stood up, and we walked through on dry shod. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody's saying who's got wet. And we just slipped through there. We hit the Egyptians, we knocked off all their deities on the way out, and we spoiled them. You see this chain I got? You understand? He got a lot of stories. He got some stories to tell. So the Israelites spoiled the Egyptians. That same slave master that beat you, that had that big brolic ring on when he was beating you that you was looking at, he had to get that up on the way out. Israelites took it, and you know how we do things. We do things, man, that's nice. That's nice, man. Let me get that. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Up it. Boom. You know what I mean? So we did that on the way out. And we had great spoil. You understand? We had a triumphant victory. Our victory was second to none. Right. So therefore, these are the things that he had to tell his father. He's bragging. Why? Because who is he to have the great king of the universe unto him? So he want to put him on. I love you. You my father-in-law, but guess who I know? You got to get with this. Right. So let's go. Come on.
See, verse 8. And Moshe told his father-in-law all that the Most High has done unto Pharaoh,
right,
and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake,
right,
all the travail that had come upon them by the way, and how the Most High delivered them,
right.
And Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness in which the Most High has done unto Israel.
He was happy for him. Listen. He was happy to see him win. That's right. Because that's his family.
A good father.
You know, when you start reading the Hebrew etymology, you know, the etymological dictionary of biblical Hebrew, and you start seeing what words mean, and you start looking into stuff, it also gives you a cultural aspect of it too. Because not only is that word hotain used to denote fathers-in-laws, but it's also used in reference to the one who was circumcised a child. So culturally, what it's telling me and what I got from it, maybe I'm wrong, but what I got from it, why would you use that word unless it was the obligation of the in-laws to do a circumcision or to do a circumcision for a child? So it's like a cultural aspect that comes with our language as well that teaches us these things. You know, let's go.
And Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness which the Most High has done to Israel, and that he had delivered them out of the hand of the Egyptians.
Right.
And Jethro said, blessed be the Most High, right, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians.
Ooh, he's a believer. He's on our team. He's rocking with us. We ain't got to fight. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
And out of the hand of Pharaoh,
right,
who have delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians.
Right.
Now I know that the Most High is greater than all these deities.
Right.
Yea, for that they dwell proudly against them. And Jethro, Moshe's father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for God. Right.
So what you got to understand is that everybody, most of the people of those lands were pagans. Right? Everybody, and that's what, listen, when he said that he knows that our God is God, it's because He seen the deliverance. He heard about the deliverance. When we came across and we was at that place where the river mouth was, Pei, right? When we was there against the mountain of Baal Zephon, which was all of these people's God. Not only the Egyptians, but the Cushites too. Because in all actuality, these people shared a lot of the same customs. Why? Because Cush is what you would consider Upper Egypt. Lower Egypt is up here because the Nile runs backwards. So Cush is considered Upper Egypt. Certain parts of Cush, a lot of the pharaohs weren't from this land. You understand? So they shared a lot of the same deities. And most of the people on this side of the water worship Baal Zephon. So when the Creator wreaked shop and brought the children across that water and shut Pharaoh and all of them down in the presence of Baal Zephon, people became believers. People became believers. He said, now I'm down. I know that your God is God. Baal Zephon never split no seeds.
Verse 12. And Jethro, Moshe's father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for God. And Aaron came and all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moshe, father-in-law before God.
Because they treated him. They said, nah, he's an official here. So listen, all the elders came up. Why? Because this is where Moshe resided, our teacher. He was underneath the care of Jethro. So they said, listen, we're going to make a dinner. We partying. We're going to have this meal, and we're going to set him amongst our elders.
Verse 13. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moshe sat to judge the people. And the people stood about Moshe from the morning until the evening.
Wow.
And
because it's a whole bunch of us. So he had to, from the morning to the evening, sit there and judge the people. Meaning that there's little cases that come up, that people have disputes. Why? Because what you got to understand is this is a people that has just gotten freedom. So in all actuality, they don't know how to exercise freedom. Yeah, yes, sir. That's still institutionalized. They still got a slave mentality. And you know what the slave mentality is? A crab in the barrel mentality. That means that, guess what? I'm going to be better than you, and I'm not satisfied to see you win. Why? Because that's a slave mentality. Why? Because slavery pits us against each other. Right. And in order for you to be successful, you got to be some sort of sellout and try not to be like your people. So this is the syndrome that we left with. Why do you think, and we left with a lot of Egyptian culture. Why do you think we ended up building a golden calf? Right. That's an Egyptian deity. Right. That's an Egyptian sex deity. We wanted to get down. We wasn't allowed in. The color section didn't have Hathor in it. You know what I'm saying? At that time, the Hebrew section, you had what's that stuff? Jim Crow. Said no. The Israelites wasn't privy to that, but we had to look at it through the window. Said, oh, that's what the Egyptians were doing. You was the cupbearer at that celebration, and now you free. You got an opportunity to be the ringmaster. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we did. We went full-fledged into our foolishness. So Moshe had a hell of a job. He had to judge people and give people understanding that were coming out of slavery. That's big, man. That's big. That's big. And you don't know what kind of disputes was. He touched my wife. He stole my this. I had Potiphar's ring, and now he got it. Give my ring back. You understand what I'm saying? So all of these things, there's things that can occur. He got to sit there and listen after case after case after case after case after case after case. But not only is it abusive to him, what is that? Not only is it abusive to him, but it's also abusive to the people. Let's go.
The father-in-law of Moses saw everything that he was doing to the people.
Right.
And he said, what is this thing that you do to the people? Why do you sit alone with all the people standing by you from morning to evening?
Right.
Moses said to his father-in-law, because the people come to me to seek God.
Right.
When they have a matter, one comes to me.
Right.
I judge between a man and his fellow.
Right.
And I make known the decrees of God and his teachings.
Right.
The father-in-law Moses said to him, the thing that you do is not good. You will surely become worn out. You as well as all this people that is with you.
Right. Because what it is that it's not only oppressive to him, but it is also oppressive to the people. That's with him. Y'all know what it is to go to DMV and you get that number and you looking at that clock and you sitting there and they calling number 5 yellows and you number 5 white. You know what I'm saying? They gotta go through 100 numbers before they get to your number, and you sitting there like all day long. So this is oppressive. So this is what Jethro is telling me. It's like, yo, this is oppressive. You're not only abusing yourself, but you're also abusing the people. So something got to give, something got to change.
Now heed my voice, I shall advise you, and may God be with you. You be a representative to God, and you convey the matters to God.
Right.
You shall caution them regarding the decrees and teachings. And you shall make known to them the path in which they should go and the deeds that they should do.
Yes, sir.
You shall discern from among the entire people, men of accomplishment,
right,
God-fearing men,
okay,
men of truth,
right,
men who despise money. And it shall be that you shall appoint them leaders of thousands.
Right. So listen to the description that he gave. He said, God-fearing men, men of renown, men that it's not like they don't like money, but they ain't thirsty for it.
They ain't covetous.
Right? They ain't not covetous. That's right. But these are men that don't want for anything. Why? Because a poor judge can be bribed.
Right. Teach.
You understand what I'm saying? You in a hole, listen, I gotta do this, gotta do that. You can get kicked out your house, and somebody say, how the hole is? Now you say it. Guess what? You're gonna judge different. So that's why the caliber of men that was put in those positions was men that didn't want for anything. Men that were just, God-fearing, men of action and truth. So this is the description that was given. He said, and you take the matters to the Creator if it's too hard.
Leaders of hundreds, leaders of 50s, and leaders of 10s.
Right.
They shall judge the people at all times, and they shall bring every matter to you.
Right.
Even minor matter they shall judge.
Right.
And it will be erased. It will sleek out. It will be eased for you.
Right.
And they shall bear with you.
Right.
And if you do this thing, and God shall command you, then you will be able to endure. And this entire people as well shall arrive in his destination in peace. Moses heeded the voice of his father.
Ooh, you hear that? Now, the funny thing is this. What he told them to do was set up an echelon, set up a rank and file, set up a system that would capture or that could represent every aspect of our community. And this is what the United States bases their system on. You got a court, a small court, then you got a Supreme Court, then you got the court over the Supreme Court. So this is what Jethro is teaching our teacher Moses. He said, and he took heed to it, which means that even though the Creator spoke to him, you understand what I'm saying? Even though the Creator spoke to him, that's one thing that we got to know. Even though the Creator spoke to him, and he was the one that the Creator chose to teach his people, he wasn't so caught up that he couldn't learn from someone else. You understand what I'm saying? Learn from somebody that ain't even an Israelite. Yep, there ain't no Israelite. Yeah, he's a Hebrew. He ain't no Israelite. Well, he might be a Hebrew being that he's from this side. He might not. Because just because they say he was the priest of Midian, or they refer to him as that, doesn't necessarily mean that he was a Midianite. You know? Because that could have been his land where he lived. But what I want us to understand is that It wasn't far-fetched from him to learn from someone else. What we have to understand is that when the Creator blesses you with a certain degree of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, don't get so full of yourself that you can't learn nothing else. Well, you won't learn nothing but that. You can't be so smart that nobody can teach you nothing. And that's one thing that this lesson, if it teaches us anything, it teaches us humility. It teaches us that, yes, you might have somebody who's outside, older people outside that don't know about this, but they may have a life lesson for you that you can take from them and add on to this. Very important, very important. And it also shows the humility of our teacher Moses. And he was really, really humble. He said, I'm going to listen. He steered me good all this far. I'm good. You know? Let's go. Come see.
Moses heeded the voice of his father-in-law.
Right.
Did everything that he had said.
Yes, sir.
Moses chose men of accomplishment from among all Israel and appointed them heads of the people, leaders of thousands, leaders of hundreds, leaders of fifties, leaders of tens. They judged the people at all times. Right. The difficult thing they will bring to Moses, and the minor thing they themselves will judge. Right. Moses sent off his father-in-law and went into his land. Right. In the third month of Exodus, the children of Israel from Egypt, on this day, they arrived in the wilderness of Sinai. They journeyed from Rephidim and arrived in the wilderness of Sinai and camped in the wilderness. And Israel encamped there, opposite of the mountain. Moses ascended to God, and Yah called to him from the mountain, saying, so shall you say to the house of Jacob and relate to the children of Israel. Right. You have seen what I did to Egypt, and that I have borne you on the wings of eagles and brought you to me. Okay. And now, if you hearken well to my voice and observe my covenant, you shall be to me the most beloved treasure of all people. Right. For mine is the entire world. So this is what the Creator is telling Moshe, our teacher, may his memory be blessed, to tell us. You know, he said, you see what I did? Y'all know my word. Y'all seen it. But I want y'all to be my beloved treasure. Don't be scared. Because I'm on y'all side. As long as you're on my side. Right? So let's go. Read some more. Moses came and summoned the elders of the people and put before them all the words that Yah had commanded him. The entire people responded together and said, everything that Yah has spoken, we shall do. Moses brought back the words of the people to Yah. That's a tough ring. Yah said to Moses, behold, I'll come to you in the thickness of a cloud, so that the people will hear as I speak to you. Right. And that they will also believe in you forever. That's right, because what happens is showing is proven to us. Let me tell you something. Anytime one of the prophets came to us, the Creator gave them some sort of sign to show us, listen, that's a fact. He's not no charlatan. You know what I'm saying? He's like, drink the Kool-Aid. Nah, we come with a sign. He's going to show you something. He said, I came in this thick thing to show the people that you just ain't blowing smoke. This is a fact. This is how I go. Believe me. This is what God said. Look. You don't believe me? Look. Y'all seen that sea split? Y'all bear witness to it. Tell shit. Yah said to Moses, go to the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, that they shall wash their clothing. Okay. Let them be prepared for the third day. And on the third day, Yah shall descend in the sight of the entire people on Mount Sinai. Right. You shall set boundaries for the people round about, saying, beware of ascending a mountain or touching its edge. Whoever touches the mountain shall surely die. Hey, listen, don't get too close. Moses is the chosen one, not the rest of you to that extent. You know what I'm saying? Y'all chosen. But y'all ain't like my man Moshe. It's a difference between him and y'all. You set them boundaries. Yes, there's levels to it. And y'all at the Padawan level, man. You understand? Y'all Jedi's in training. Moshe is the Jedi now. You understand what I'm saying? So we weren't prepared to get
we were only prepared to go to a certain point. And the Creator said, so my people don't mess up, set goals, set boundaries. Because the Creator is looking out for us first. He's looking out for our best interest. He said, listen, they ain't holy yet. They ain't holy. He said, listen, make them sanctify themselves. And even in us sanctifying ourselves, 3 days. Still ain't ready yet for that.
Teach. Teach.
3 days, you know what 3 days sanctification means? That you've been away from your wives, you're not seen for 3 days. Ain't no accident. You know what I'm saying? Everything cleaned up. Vessel clean. You understand what I'm saying? Vessel clean. That's and that's why it's important to to learn these things about hygiene and all that stuff. There's a reason why you don't have relations like that and come out and join the holy convocation. Even though that's not an uncleanness that you can transport or transfer, but you want to separate that which is common from that which is holy. You understand what I'm saying? So he gave us 3 days to get it together. Let's go.
A hand shall not touch it, for he shall surely be stoned or thrown down.
Right.
Whether animal or person, he shall not live upon in the extended blast of the shofar.
Right.
They may ascend the mountain.
Okay.
Moses descended from the mountain to the people.
Right.
He sanctified the people and they washed their clothing.
Right.
He said to the people, be prepared after a 3-day period. Do not draw near a woman.
Mm-hmm.
On the 3rd day, when it was morning, there was thunder and lightning and a heavy cloud on the mountain.
Right.
And the sound of the shofar was very powerful. Mm-hmm. And the entire people that was in the camp.
He says, don't draw near to a woman. That's important, man. You know why? Because, listen, there are certain things, the human body is a human body. You understand what I'm saying? So there are certain things in men that might make you excited, or you know what I mean, and you're aroused, and fireworks is going. You understand what I'm saying? So these are things that the Creator wanted to prevent us. He said, don't come nigh unto them. Separate yourself. That's why these are things that we have to incorporate in our lives as well. Right. Like even on Shabbat, man, sometimes it's good that you don't sleep in the bed with your wife on Friday night. Right. Because when you sleep and bump in, this, that, and the third, and it's a separation. You understand what I'm saying? But this is not like these are things that we overlook, but these are things that we have to be conscious of to be safe. You understand what I'm saying?
Moses brought the people from the camp toward God, and they stood at the bottom of the mountain.
Right.
All of Mount Sinai was smoking because Yah had descended upon it in fire.
Right.
Its smoke ascended like the smoke of a furnace. Right. And the entire mountain shuddered exceedingly. Woo! The sound of the shofar grew continually much stronger.
Just read that out. Come on.
Moses would speak, and God would respond to him with a voice. Mm-hmm. Yah descended upon Mount Sinai to the top of the mountain. Okay. Yah summoned Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses ascended. Right. Yah said to Moses, descend, warn the people lest they break through to Yah to see, and a multitude of them will fail. Even the Kohanim who approach Yah shall be prepared, lest Yah burst forth against them. Mm-hmm. Moses said to Yah, the people cannot ascend Mount Sinai, but you have warned us, saying, bound the mountain and sanctify it. Right. Yah said to him, go, descend, then you shall ascend with Aaron with you. But the Kohanim and the people, they shall not break through to ascend to Yah, lest he burst forth against them. Right. Moses descended to the people and said it to them. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. It's levels. It's levels. He said, go back down there. He said, you and him could do this, but the rest of them can't go nowhere. There's levels too. Now, what's the next chapter? It's 19, right? 20. Oh, we into 20, right? Yeah. Oh, so that was 19 that we read through. Yeah. Good. So let's go to 20. 20 is mean because what happens is this is the Creator giving us the instructions. Right. And the first instructions that he gives us, this is like our contact. This is our first instructions. You can't go wrong with this, right? So this is where we get introduced to Torah. That's mean. This is where we get introduced to Torah. And look at the Torah that he gives us, the creator of heaven and earth. The creator is selfless because the Torah that he gives us is not so much in performing services towards him. It's about us performing services for each other and what not to do. He didn't say, listen, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need this, I need you to do this for me, I need you to do this for me, I need you to do. He said, don't steal from your brother. Don't steal, period. He's given us communal laws so that we can live harmoniously. Why? Because guess what? This is the reasons why Moshe got against the people like that. You understand? So the creator sees the burden of Moshe. So now it's going to be laws, statutes, commandments, and judgments. Now we ain't got to deliberate over this all day long. You slept with his wife, off with it. You understand? You stole this, we got something for you. You understand what I'm saying? You did this, we got something for you. Toshi.
Yah spoke all these statements, saying, I am Yah, your God, who has taken you out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. You shall not recognize the gods of others in my presence.
Right.
You shall not make yourself a carved image.
It says, you shall not make unto you any graven image of any manner of thing, a likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth. And then it say to bow down to. Right? To bow down to. Not saying that you can't, you know what I mean? You can't draw a picture or no, it says to bow down to. Right. In the English, it gives you a semicolon. That means that statement is the statement to bow down to is the sum up of the previous statement. Right? So to bow down to bow down unto. When you take something and you bow down to it, that you have made it or created a graven image of something, and you created a deity. And that's the violation. He said in the heaven above, meaning the sun, the stars, and all that therein. The earth beneath, whatever's here, whether it's a tree, an animal, your wife, your children, your car, your chain, your money, or the waters under the earth, whether it's a fish, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. He covered everything. Right. It said heaven above, that's beyond space. So every tier is covered. You ain't got no business down there. Nothing that exists at all. That's right. That's right. Nothing that exists. It says the heaven above, the earth beneath, for the waters under the earth to bow down unto. Thou shalt make unto thee any like manner of likeness or anything from heaven above, earth beneath, nor serve them. He says, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God. That's right. I'm a jealous power. I get mad. Right. That's only for us to understand. You understand what I'm saying? He's not going to tolerate us giving his glory to anything, right, especially something he created. That's right. Ooh. Yes. You understand what I'm saying? Something that he created. Right. If he created it, how you going to worship the creation? Yeah. It don't make no sense. But backwards. Yeah. Teach. Where we at? It says to bow down unto. Why the Lord thy God, I'm a just God. Then it says what? Visiting?
Who visits the sins of the fathers upon the children.
That's right. So it says visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, but showing mercy unto the thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. So the Creator is making a decree. That in itself is a decree, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon their children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Meaning that if you hate the Creator and your fathers hate the Creator, then you not only gonna get your punishment, but you're gonna get the punishment that your father deserved. Visiting until somebody break the cycle. Right? Until, would you say that again?
Someone breaks that cycle.
Until somebody break that cycle.
Right.
Why? Because the cycle, and then the creator's word is consistent. Regardless of how you move, the creator's word is consistent. Because in Exodus, he gave us this instruction, but then when you go to Ezekiel, when he says, no longer shall they have occasion to use his proverbs in Israel. The father said, eating sour grapes, and the children's teeth are set on that. The father said, all souls are mine. So is the soul of the father, so is the soul of the son. The soul of the sinner, it shall die. Meaning that the creator is consistent with the first message, even up until the time we went into captivity. Because Ezekiel was the start of our ending. You understand what I'm saying? That's when we went into Babylon, and from Babylon we went to Persia, and from Persia we went into the Greeks, and from the Greeks we went to the Romans, and then we ended up here. That's the last. So from the beginning of us coming out of captivity, all the way to our last, the first or the beginning of our captivity, the word of the Creator has been consistent. That's me. That's me. Let's it says, visit iniquities of fathers upon the children to the 34th generation of them that hate me, but show mercy unto the thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. But show mercy unto the thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Visit iniquities of the fathers upon the children to the 34th generation of them that hate me, but show mercy unto the thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Love. Love. That's the thing. The Creator said, love me. And love me and keep my commandments. Let's go.
You shall not take the name of Yah, your God, in vain.
So let me ask this question. You show the Creator that you love him by keeping your commandments? By keeping his commandments? Okay, so the commandments that he's given us is commandments that what we do, that make us love each other. Right? So therefore, by showing love to each other, you're showing love to the Creator. You know what I mean? That's important. That's big. By us showing love to each other, we show love to the Creator. Toshi.
For Yah will not absolve anyone who takes his name in vain.
The Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. For the Lord will not hold him guiltless, which means that if you misrepresent this thing, this covenant that he's given us, this thing about us, like the mafia say, la kosher notion. If you misrepresent this thing about us, then the Creator, they say, what? They say, it's not going to hold him guiltless. You're going to get paid for that. You go out there in these streets and mix it up, and you misrepresent this. With these things on. Because once you put these things on, now you under the banner. You know what I'm saying? You can't get caught slipping aside. So, very important. Not only that, but we don't swear in vain. It says, a righteous man swear to his own hurt and fulfill it. I mean, you swear to his own hurt, meaning that even if it's going to hurt you, you're still going to fulfill that vow.
Remember the Shabbat day to sanctify it.
It says, remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. 6 days shall I labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath unto the Lord thy God. In it, thou shalt not do no work. It says, thou, nor thy sons, nor thy daughters, nor thy manservants, nor thy maidservants, nor thy cattle, nor the stranger that is within thy gates. So everybody is supposed to adhere to this. When they come around you, when they're in your town, when they're around you, in your gate, somebody come to your crib, they got to abide by your law. No, you good, don't worry about it. You want in, do what you want to do. No, you in my crib, you want to do what we do. We do this. Don't come to my crib, period. And say your own little prayer. Because that's what relatives do. Relatives come over and they say, and they sit down and eat. You know, and they say the grace and do their thing and in his name we pray. And they say it to themselves, nobody should have occasion to do anything that's contrary to the word of God. Because that's deeper than just a Shabbat. Within your gates, they have to abide by the same law, statutes, and commandments that you abide by. Or else take it outside. Right? So it says, not our sons, not our daughters, not our manservant. You ain't no Israel, you say Israelite now. You work with me, you say Israelite. Not our manservant. It says, Lord, our cattle. So if you got animals, you don't work your animals. The horse get a day off. What do you mean? What do you mean? So that means that Israelites probably ain't riding their horses every Shabbat? Oh. He get a break. He get a break. It says, Lord, our cattle. You ain't going to milk the cow today, man. Leave them alone. You ain't going to milk the goat because we ain't do cow milk. A lot of times we drink goat milk. Yeah. So you leave the goat alone today. She get a break. She get a break. If you ain't getting a day before, then you ain't got no business getting in there. Yeah. You gotta leave her alone. Let her rock. Let her rock. So all of that, all these things, the animals supposed to rest. It says, for the 6 days the Lord made the heaven and earth, the sea, and all that therein. The rest of the 7th day, wherefore the Lord blesses them their house. Right? Okay. Then it says, what? Honor thy father and thy mother. Right. That thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth. Right. Now those are all commandments that have to deal with social settings. So before he gave us instructions on not stealing and not doing this and not doing that and this, that, and the third, he gave us Shabbat, meaning that you cease. Right? He said, first and foremost, don't serve no other gods. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only way you're going to be there. That's the only way you can rob is if you don't serve no other gods. The next thing that he told us is that I'm jealous. Don't take my name in vain. You know what I'm saying? Then he tells us, then the Creator tells us, remember the Sabbath day. So you chill. I did it as an example for you, and you ran down the history of the earth. It says 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that therein. And someday I rested. So therefore you should rest. I didn't need no rest. God didn't need no rest. He gave it to us. Right? So he said, rest on the 7th day. All right, cool. So we got that. Rest on the 7th day. And then from there, he says, what? It says, don't take his name in vain. But then he says, honor your mother and your father. Honor your mother. Honor them. Because this is the foundation. Now he's setting it up where this can go on from generation to generation. Right? So he gave us the blueprint. Then he gave us another blueprint that allows this to continue from generation to generation. Forever. Because if you honor your father and mother, then you're going to continue in this vein. That's right. That's right. That's right. So he said, honor your father and your mother that thy days may be long. Meaning that if you don't, I'm going to kill you. Straight up and down. You don't honor your father and your mother. That's why these kids are dying that way in the street. Gang banging. I'm going to tell you this. Every time I did something, my mother told me not to do. And I wasn't even disrespectful. But your parents teach you how to serve God, because they teach you a respect, and they like your starter. They like your starters. You know what I'm saying? You learn to respect them, and they teach you how to serve, and then you make yourself praiseworthy and serve worthy of the Creator. You know what I'm saying? Steps and stages, right? So anytime my mother, I remember every time that I had interactions with the Lord, because my Hema told me, let's cool out, man. Don't go outside, stay here. Right. And then I said, he might be like that. I'm just gonna hang out for a little while. Whoop, whoop. Yep. Shalom, people. I will. Okay. Shalom. I'm locked up. You understand what I'm saying? So it's important because there's a spiritual connection between you and your parents and their children. And when you violate that, you leave yourself open for everything. All of these commandments, when you violate it, you leave yourself. You ever been out on a Friday? I've never, not to go to a party, but just be outside. The air different. The air different. You go outside, even when you're taking a walk on a Friday night. I remember one time coming, I left something at the camp. I had to drive back down here from my crib. It was maybe about 9 o'clock at night. And I came outside of the frame, man, and it's just an eerie feeling, man. For me, it feel like that. That's what I'm saying? It feel like that. We gotta watch these things. The Creator gave us a way to keep us away from harm. You know what I'm saying? It's a blueprint to keep us away from harm. It says, honor our father and our mother, that the days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God give. It says what? Thou shalt not murder. You shall not murder. Murder and kill is two different things. Right? Kill, we do to survive, we do to eat, we do all of these things. People that's a vegetarian, you kill the plant. You understand what I'm saying? You kill to eat. That's what it is. Pestilence, you kill. You understand? There's different forms of killing. But the Creator says don't murder. Murder is killing, senseless killing. For no reason or a reason that's criminal. Right? So, thou shalt not murder. Go ahead. What's after murder?
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Ooh, so he giving us like the levels of it. Murder, like commit adultery, come right after murder. We're talking about capital offenses. These are the ones you lose your life over, right or wrong. You murder somebody, you commit adultery. Why? Because the worst thing that you could do, one of the worst things that you could do, besides kill somebody, is sleep with somebody's wife. Because you done tore up their whole family. You done messed the kids up, you done messed this up, that's why it's important, brothers and sisters, brothers that are here, and brothers and sisters who are online, and we understand these things. Sometimes you don't even entertain too much conversation with a woman that's not your wife.
That's right.
You can sit down with another man's wife and drink, and they y'all no, it don't go like that. Why? Because you kill boundaries.
Right.
And people are people. People tend to learn to like people. Damn, he got more swag than my husband. You know how the mind go? The mind goes 100 miles per hour. Yeah, I didn't know he was that down to earth. I didn't know all that. You wasn't supposed to.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You wasn't supposed to get a conversation like that. You understand what I'm saying? You haven't been that's about you said, brother, why shalom? Sis, how you doing?
Right.
Keep pushing. You understand? No. You ain't my sister or something like that. We don't hug. You understand? I said, shalom.
Right.
That's how you do it. No. That's the worst thing that you can do, is to create that kind of thought pattern.
Right.
Whether it's yours or you created it in somebody else. Let's go. So it said commit adultery.
You shall not steal.
Thou shalt not steal. If it's not yours, leave it alone. Don't say I'm stealing from the white man, because listen, stealing is stealing. Stealing is stealing. Hey, man, we don't steal. We do not steal. Israelites don't steal. You know what I mean? Let's go. Come on. And there's different ways of stealing that we try not to do. You know what I'm saying? Because you borrow without asking. I knew you was gonna give it to me anyway. But how you know that if you ain't had no conversation? So you took it. That's stealing. Talk to you.
You shall not bear false witness against your fellow.
Bear false witness, meaning saying you saw something that you did not see. If you didn't see it, then don't say nothing. If you're unsure of it, another thing, brothers and sisters, if you're unsure of it, then don't be a witness.
Still alive.
Because if you're not sure, you have to be 100% sure before you can testify. If there's a doubt in your mind that you might not have heard that the way, then don't say anything. Don't witness. I just can't witness. That don't make you soft. It don't make you a chump. It don't make you a person that don't speak up. It just makes you safe. Before the Creator.
You shall not covet your fellow's house. You shall not covet your fellow's wife.
Right. So don't covet. You know what coveting is? Coveting is, let's say you pull up in Maserati. And I come outside and say, damn, that's a bad car, man. I want one of those. That don't mean I want yours.
Right. I want one for myself.
I want one for myself. Yeah. But when I want yours, that's called coveting. Right. You know what I mean? I could want something like it, similar, and get it. You know what I'm saying? You come through with, you say, I like them guys. Some people have different things for women, or they like different kind of women. Or some women say, I like my men tall and dark and blah, blah, blah. Men might say, listen, I like them red bones. You understand? Or somebody might say, no, I like them dark skinned girls. And you pull up with a dark skinned girl. And I say, you know what? I like his taste, but I don't like her. Right. I gotta go get my own darknesses. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You gotta do it. You can't want what someone else has. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what comes covetousness, because covetousness is the start of sin. Right. It'll cause you to steal. It'll cause you to commit adultery. It'll cause you to lie. It'll cause you to murder. It'll cause you to do all the things that we just read.
His maidservant, his ox, his donkey.
They said, don't cover nothing. Nothing. Get your own. Get your own. It ain't that, And sometimes you gotta protect yourself. Sometimes you gotta tell yourself or talk yourself out of certain things. Protect yourself. You understand? It's important. Even, and I'm gonna use this example, even as far, because this is all Torah. When sisters go up the stairs, it's important that you don't go up right behind.
That's right. Teach that etiquette, man. That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? It's important. Give some time to get up there. You know what I'm saying? Wait, and then you go. Yeah, any day. You know what I mean? Well, because what happens is you don't want those thoughts to come in your head. You don't want to see certain things. You understand what I'm saying? Our sisters in general, I'm not even talking about sisters here, I'm talking about our women in general, are built in a certain way. You don't want to run, come upstairs and then change your thought. No, you want to refrain from any kind of situation that might cause you to think in that nature. Let them go. Just listen, we'll give sister a couple minutes to get upstairs. Let them go upstairs. It's for our protection, but it's for their protection as well. So this is how we have to put fences around certain things so that we don't bother. You know what I mean? So, well, that's it, right?
The entire people saw the thunder and flame, the sound of the shofar and the smoke and melting.
Right.
The people saw and trembled and stood afar. Right. They said unto Moses, you speak to us and we shall hear. Let God not speak to us, lest we die.
Listen, we know we all holy and stuff like that, but you from now on, you speak for us, man. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. We scared. You should, especially if your intentions ain't good. Right. Especially if you know that you're not a good person. You don't want to stand between. No. Keep you away from holiness. Right. And that's something, but I'm going to tell you this, you can't allow your guilt to keep you away from holiness. And the only way to recover from that is to be around holiness. Right. Psychologically, we think, I got to get myself right before I go before God. Guess what? The best time for you to go before God is when you're in that negative state so that you can build up righteousness. Because that's where our strength comes from. Don't take a vacation from this and try to keep your mind.
Moses said to the people, do not fear, for in order to elevate you, God has come, so that all of him shall be upon your faces.
You hear what Moshe said, same thing we just said. He said, listen, in order for you to elevate, you got to be around the Creator. Don't you?
So that you shall not sin. The people stood afar, and Moses approached the thick cloud where God was.
He said, man, y'all ain't coming?
They can't.
They can't, yeah. Y'all don't hear this? Y'all don't love this sound? Y'all ain't feeling this? Now, you go ahead, Moshe. Tell us what he said.
Yeah.
Y'all said to Moses, so shall you say to the children of Israel.
What verse you at?
19.
Okay.
You have seen that I have spoken to you from heaven. You shall not make images of that which is me. Right. Gods of silver, gods of gold, you shall not make for yourselves. Right. And also of earth shall you make for me. You You shall slaughter near it your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, your flocks and your herd.
Right.
Wherever I permit my name to be mentioned,
Right.
I shall come to you and bless you. And when you make me an altar of stones, do not build them hewn, for you will have raised your own sword over it and desecrated.
Right.
You shall not ascend my altar on steps, so that your nakedness will not be uncovered upon me. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. So the Creator is giving us instructions on how to serve Him. He said, listen, when you come to serve me, he said, you got to be right in all aspects of everything. It said the one thing that stood out, it says that don't make an altar of hewn stones. Meaning that the Creator on his a la natural. You gonna put this together? Listen, I built that way. So put it together the way I built it. Don't put no knife to it or no chisel or nothing like that to it. Just put it together. You know what I'm saying? And don't offer in a place where my name ain't at. You understand? Those are important factors. Not only that, he said, don't put no steps. Because you don't want no unseemly thing in the service of the Creator, and you don't want the people that bear witness to be unseemly in the presence of the Creator. Say. Just like when they said when the Nashim is going up the stairs, you don't want that spirit. Because that's a free spirit. You understand? You don't bring that spirit with you into the house of God. You understand? So therefore it said, listen, don't have no steps. It said, it's like a ramp or something so that you ain't got to step up no steps and they get to see the priest's nakedness. He's a man. So how much more Nashim? Right. You got to be careful. We got to be very, very careful in our approach to everything. Hallelujah. 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 Thanking the Creator for an opportunity to come out here and do it. And I thank the Creator for the lives of the brothers that came out here today. Thank the Creator for the lives of our brothers and sisters who are online. May the Creator continue to guide, shield, and protect you. Again, giving all honor and praise to our power, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob, the great, mighty, revered one, the Most High, maker, owner, possessor of all things and everything. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Again, giving due respect to my father, Hanasi Support, Vince Ruler, asking that the Creator continue to bless him and bless all of our families with all our hearts desire. That's how we got to start to pray. So with that, I bid you all a shalom aleichem, and I hope we all got something out of the lesson. And prayerfully, we'll see each other next week. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let us rise. See that.
Hallelujah.
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 All praises, all glory to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the most revered God, owner, possessor of all things and everything. Thank you, Most High, for the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that you gave unto us today, even through our brother, Prince Nantanya, Benjamin. And continue to bless him and his family, and allow him to continue to gain wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and to continue to teach our people. And may you allow others to come forward, and may you continue to bless them to understand and to have the zeal to teach. All glory to you, and may you bless us as we come amongst us. And as we come amongst each other, being brothers, even loving each other and representing one. May the people online be blessed as well. May you keep them and thank them, even tuning in to the truth, which we shall represent. All glory to you forever and ever. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Hallelujah.
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 Praise the mighty God.
Praise the mighty God.
Before you cut off, we would also like everybody to look at and listen to the album. The album is out. Remnant's Redemption. It's a hot album. It's an album that for Israelites. You know what I mean? Something that gives you spiritual upliftment every day of the week. And it's not something archaic to the point that this is music that It's better than the music that's out right now. You understand what I'm saying? You can rock to it, the kids love it. If you can get it on Tidal, you can get it on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Prime, Google Play. Go online, get this music. The music is beautiful. Shout out to our brothers and sisters from North Carolina who been holding it down and listening to some of the music. We really appreciate it. We got a lot of things going on and that we're looking forward to do. And with the help of the Creator and the help of our brothers and sisters that are online as well as those that are here, we can accomplish these things. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.